broke here, repaired, broke there, repaired here again, and so on and on and on. So when you wanna talk about a car which is in general a good car, which is the incarnation of something which was great, considered as the ultimate car of a century, like the 300 SL, you directly come to the conclusion that an SLS should be a good car, which is like with all the parts in the car, with all the buttons used from big series, everything should work out, which I guess normally it is. But there's like the chance that you own a car which should be good and you are excited to get it, and it's turning into a crazy nightmare. As we call it in Germany, you probably bought a Monday's car, like a car which was just built up just in the wrong moment with the wrong parts, and you're just the guy who just deserve it to not be lucky with this one. And that happened to me like several years ago when I just turned from owning some Porsches like 996 GT2, 997 Turbo stuff, which was pretty much probably too German. Yeah, good cars, no question, but just I wanted something a little bit more special, and that was in the younger days, mid-20s, and I thought, hey, there came this day up on which my dad came and said, hey, I got offered this pearl white SLS coupe, and I thought, wow, SLS. I was at the presentation at the Frankfurt Auto Show, have seen this car in this red color. So I thought, hey, the price was pretty much affordable, and I need that car. Like that is something I see myself already driving through the city on the Autobahn, like enjoying something which was pretty much special. And SLS is still a special and great car. Probably the best modern sports car I can imagine, because it just ticks all the boxes. When you see like it's performing like a 458, it has the style of a 300 SL almost. Yeah, I would say. It's good looking. It's just well made. So I bought this car. We picked it up, and we directly recognized this car has never received any love. Like no service, or maybe service from, I don't know, some Italians or Arabian guys, but not what it should have received. So it wasn't working properly. Needed like a list of work, and we started to do that. So beginning with just adjusting a little bit, came to, hey, we need new suspension. Was for any reason, was just all the oil was coming out, wasn't working. Okay, so new suspension, ordered new brakes. And with brakes, I don't speak about discs, I mean like calipers. Lights in the back, they were cracked, maybe for the sun or whatever. The door was coming down all the time, so you just need that kind of suspension for the doors. I was still very smooth, and it was still a white, mystic white SLS on very light leather, which is basically looking a little bit like white. So after 6-7 months of let's say refurbishing this car, with basically beginning with tires, going to windshield, parts in the engine bay missing, and it was running. Yeah, I drove the first time and recognized, hey, there is no light on anymore. The AC is not working, but who cares? Yeah, that was just I guess just a refill, nothing big. But anyway, so the car was driving, and then I thought, hey, on the next weekend, I want to use my new, like basically one of my dream cars, honestly. Like the SLS is still one of my dream cars. Yeah, it's a great car. And so I thought I will drive this car to the Green Hell, to Nürburgring. Yeah, for the I think it was the Oldtimer Grand Prix. Something we go every year. That is just a must go. So drove over to the Nürburgring, recognized, hey, this car is not shifting properly, fast enough. Like with a double clutch gearbox, it should just shift pretty well. But it wasn't. So it wasn't really shifting. It felt like not the power it should have. Nothing was working really properly. So I came back, the beginning of, okay, changing oils, changing liquids, hoping that the clutch isn't broken, that dual clutch gearbox isn't broken. But beside that, at this point, the handling was nice. So the car was driving straight, the car was driving into corners pretty nice. Like an SLS is a car which doesn't only look good, it handles well. It's a good driver's car. By not looking like a GT3 RS, like, not crazy wings like an Airbus. So started again of putting out, changing fluids, needed parts, and that went over a year that the car wasn't. And then I thought, okay, the car is driving properly until the point when you are at 250 kilometers, which was top speed. That's probably enough for the US to get into prison or into jail, but not in Europe. Like, you need a car to go over 250, that you can go faster than any mummy with her wagon next to you. So then needed the full bunch of wires and harness in the engine bay, all new. Went on to the Autobahn, tested the car. Mercedes said, hey, it's working. Not to mention that, of course, a bunch of money went into that car. And the car had power, was shifting better. It felt like I am on the horizon. I saw myself owning an SLS coupe in white over like almost white leather forever. I was already thinking of, hey, I need the pair, I need an SLR as well. And drove on the Autobahn, and the car was doing 300, 310. We have several areas where this is pretty much allowed, and you can do that. And was parked to refill the gas, and I saw, oh, there's some smoke coming out of the car, and it was water smoke. I thought, okay, all right. It's like you are almost 10 years, 8 years, 10 years, I do not remember correct, but almost 10 years old. Some pipes, water pipes, whatever should be broken. That's not a big thing. Let's change it, yeah. So it took me 2 years probably to change these pipes. Broke here, repaired, broke there, repaired here again, and so on and on and on. So it ended up I used this car pretty much daily, as a daily for a while, and I had great fun, great memories with it. And by the way, it's still the favorite car of my girlfriend. She always says, "Hey, you shouldn't have sold this car." And then there was this one Sunday again where a friend of ours said, "Hey, we have this drive out for, I think for any purpose, charity, whatever." So my brother took a McLaren MP412C, another car I don't want to own again back then, and some GT3s, Scots, nice cars. And we had that Sunday drive, perfect weather, great day. Drove in the backyards of Frankfurt City through the small, I don't want to call it mountains, but hills. It was pretty nice. And after 2 hours of driving, it was fun, it was great. It was probably the best day with that car in my life. Absolutely great, beside traveling to south of Germany and here and there in Hamburg with that car. But this day, the car performed well. It was great. Enjoyed it. And I was standing in the line, like in a very small, you probably don't have these streets here in the US because your sideways are bigger than our streets. Yeah? But we have streets where you cannot go through with basically 2 cars coming into each direction. And standing behind a car, I think my brother was in front of me with a McLaren. There was a Scud behind me and a GT3 behind me, but there was a gap between me and the Scud, so of about 2 cars probably. And there was a car coming next, like in our direction. It was like 9 kilometers away from the place where we want to have like dinner after the drive. So we were almost done. I was standing there. The window was down, my hand out. I was proud with my SLS. That was a good day. I was pretty happy. And it was an old man with an A-Class, a car you might not have seen, but this is probably the worst car ever built by Mercedes-Benz, coming into our direction. I thought, okay, he's like, the street is pretty tiny, but probably he shouldn't go that much onto our side. So it ended up that he almost crashed in the McLaren, but I knew at some point, okay, he definitely crashed into me. Seeing him, thought, okay, I don't know why. I pretty chill, was sitting like this, taking my hand into the car, closing the window for whatever reason, I have no idea, but he crashed into the front. That, like, not crashing hard, but he slided around my car completely. And then he drove into the open door behind my car was a backyard. He drove into the door on the corner of that house. And I thought, I didn't recognize directly, but opened the door, thought, okay, let's go out, see how bad it is. Everybody stopped, of course, like all the people came and, hey, what happened, anything to you, whatever, all the questions with the crash. And the car was still driving, running, yeah, but the rear axle was a little bit cracked, so it was not driving straight. But anyway, went out of the car, and I've seen this old man. I was standing there, my brother next to me, and he asked me, like, what the hell is this guy doing there? Like, his front suspension destroyed completely. His one wheel was going that direction, the other wheel in the other, and was standing there trying to, like, punching the house, reverse, back, punching again, just to turn around. And then there were people coming and say, hey, what happened to you? How do you feel? Are you good? It's all okay? Yeah, it's all fine. I just took the wrong lane. And that was basically the moment, the repair of that car, because some of the parts, SLS parts, everything what is dedicated is expensive. It took a while, and in this while, my brother bought a Mercy, which is for another day, but that is when the SLS book was already like that was already the after party scene, yeah, if that makes sense. And so repaired the car, painted it completely again because of Mystic White. You cannot repaint only the left side. Repainted it and sold it to a good friend who sold it to a DJ in Marbella, who is now pretty happy with the car, loves it as I did, has no problems because basically I had all of them. And yeah, and I guess this at some point it will be a classic, but I will always remember that I owned it for a while, and that was a great part of my automobile career. Yeah, don't want to miss it, but maybe no other broken SLS again for me.
By now you know that Auto Tempest is the best place to shop for your next car because they compile all the results from all the major listing sites into one place. And of course they support the best car content on YouTube. But did you also know that Auto Tempest now has a new mobile app? That's right, in addition to using it in your browser on a computer, you can also have it for iOS or Android in the palm of your hand. So check it out and download it. I know you'll love it the way I love it, and leave them a great review.